Hello, good evening and welcome to The Probe. I'm Carlos Caloni. We are live on DSTV channel 421, Go TV 125, Joy 99.7 FM and Love 99.5 FM. We're also streaming live on all our social media platforms, Facebook, YouTube, and X at Joy News on TV. Around the world, we are on myjoyonline.com. Tonight is the NPP Save the Judiciary demonstration set for tomorrow, May 5, 2025. A genuine civic move to defend judicial independence, or merely a face-saving attempt for what many see as a faltering thank you talk? As public debate intensifies over President Mahama's suspension of the Chief Justice, the NPP says it is taking to the streets to demand a reversal of that decision. But critics are asking, why is the party more interested in the judicial standoff than in revitalizing its own grassroots through the thank you talk? Will tomorrow's protest and the petition the party plans to present make any real difference? How is the government responding to the growing political pressure? And what security measures are the Ghana Police Service also putting in place ahead of what could be a tense day tomorrow? We are unpacking all of these questions tonight here on The Probe. When I return, I will be speaking with the National Youth Organizer of the NPP, Salam Mohammed Mustafa, and also the Deputy General Secretary of NDC, Mustafa Bandi, also a political scientist, Dr. Kwesi Amache Boateng. Tonight, here's The Probe. Stay with us. Welcome back. Let me begin from the studio, because in studio is Salam Mohammed Mustafa. You've been working all day. How has the preparations been so far since morning?
First and foremost, let me say a very good evening to your viewers. The preparations have been ongoing for some time now, and the whole of today we have been putting the final touches together. And I think we are good to go. People are poised and fired up for tomorrow, and hopefully by dawn, we'll see that people will start congregating, and for us to take the demo up. People are quite fired up, and people are upbeat about it. So we are poised, and so far preparations are, far advanced, and it is my belief that tomorrow we'll have a very good and a very...
Where is the starting point, actually?
The old Kwame Nkrumah Mausoleum, just around the Supreme Park, the
High Street area?
Yes, the High Street area, the Supreme Court area there. That's in the Ododidiodio constituency. We have 3 petitions to present tomorrow. So the first one will be at the Supreme Court. So we'll congregate there, and when we take off, we'll present the first petition to the Supreme Court, then head to Parliament, present another petition, then the final one to the Jubilee House.
So who is receiving the one to the Supreme Court?
Well, I cannot determine who will come and receive the petition, but arrangements have been made. They know that we are coming, and hopefully tomorrow someone certainly would be there to receive the petition. Of course, what we are doing it inures the benefit of the judiciary. Right. It's in the interest of the judiciary. So they are the foremost beneficiaries of this cause. And it is not an NPP event. It is not. It is a coalition.
It's not an NPP demo?
No, it's not an NPP demo. It's a coalition of parties that have come together, and all like-minded people who are bored by this uncanny attempt to bastardize the judiciary and also, interfere in the work of the judiciary. So anybody is invited to come, and tomorrow you will not see NPP colors there. You are going to see black and red to show our abhorrence. That's right. What we are out to do. It's not an NPP.
You say all political parties are invited, but we've seen GUM withdraw from this whole arrangement. How many political parties are joining?
There are so many parties. LGPD, LGP, the
LGP.
PNP. Yes, tomorrow they will be there. A number of parties. When we held the press a few days ago, a number of people were there who are not of the NPP stock. So it shows you that it's wide-cutting the people who have joined this coalition to press home the demand that the suspension is lifted and that Chief Justice Madam Tokono is reinstated, and that government backs off from the interference that we are seeing here. Look, when you take Article 125 of the Constitution, it tells you that justice emanates from the people, okay? And that it is administered by the judiciary.
Right.
And that the judiciary is not subject to any individual in the country, not the executive, not the legislature, but only to the Constitution of Ghana. So it is quite...
So what are you calling interference at this point?
This whole shenanigans going on is absolute interference. I have taken time to read all 3 petitions. And Chief Justice's response to the petitions. And if I were Mr. President, I would call the 3 petitioners and give them severe head knocks and throw the petitions to in fact, I will give it to the KVI people for toilet, usage, because it's nothing but bogus and a bunch of, non-serious, English put together.
How about the allegations made against the Chief Justice herself about her travel arrangement?
All of that
is it also bogus?
Is bogus.
What makes it bogus?
Let me tell you, I have been a presidential staffer. I know how the president travels. That petition was by Daniel Ofori, and his allegations are true. Incompetence and misbehavior, and list those things. When the president is traveling, nobody asks the president, your list of people you're traveling with. The president travels with all sorts of people. The spouse and so on and so forth. I've been a presidential...
But this has to do with the Chief Justice.
Travels. I'm coming. Same as Parliament. You want to tell me that the judiciary is much more less and powerless as compared to the other 2 arms of government, that the Chief Justice cannot travel?
There's a travel policy she has to adhere to.
She did not violate the travel policy because she can't travel with her spouse and one other person of her choosing. So if she chooses her daughter, how do you sit somewhere and say that she has faulted and that based on that she should be removed? I'm coming. When you state that as misbehavior, let me give you a very classical example of a typical misbehavior by His Excellency the President John Dramani Mahama.
No, at this point we are discussing the Chief Justice.
Yes.
So you are making the claim that...
Let me make the point.
You said the petition is bogus.
Yes.
And we want to establish why you think the petition is bogus.
I'm establishing for you. You have to see it clearly that there is a grand scheme. This thing is a duck that has been cooked.
By who?
By some people who have an agenda to push. Let me tell you.
You know them?
They know themselves.
No, you know them. You are saying...
People who want to push a third-term agenda for President John Dramani Mahama.
But that wouldn't be fair to the president, because some of these petitions were submitted to ex-President Akufo-Addo. You remember?
When it quacks like a duck, when it walks like a duck, it is a duck. And we are seeing the duck being cooked. Okay?
So when did the cooking start? Because we saw the petition to former President Akufo-Addo before even Mahama took office.
Exactly.
So the cooking started from the previous administration.
The Shining Star one basically came to President Akufo-Addo. When you go through it, in fact, common sense tells you that throw this thing into the garbage. Common sense. We cannot determine to Mr. Kwesi Chung how he runs Joy FM. You understand?
It's a private entity, you know that.
Yes. But every entity and how it is run.
Yeah.
We cannot go and tell President John Dramani Mahama how he should run the Jubilee House. We cannot do so.
No, he has to do that in accordance with laid down law.
The Chief Justice, in the performance of her duty, has not broken any law. Look,
that's according to you.
No, it's not.
But the Council of State...
Let me make this point to you. When you read all 3 petitions, there is no one, any of them, that you find embezzlement, that you find has tempered with justice. None. But these are grounds that if were prevalent, we will all agree that the Chief Justice should go. But you don't take administrative issues and come and say that based on that, the Chief Justice should go. Look, I was making an example for you to see. The driver of the president is a highly trained driver. And at any point in time, anybody who is going to drive the president or the vice president are highly skilled drivers. They take them for specialized training and so on and so forth. They can shoot and drive at the same time. both forward and backwards, and are armed. So usually, the people who drive the president are co-opted into national security.
Right.
Not long ago, we saw the president's brother drive him. That is not misbehavior. That is misbehavior. But that one, the president, is immune. Nobody is talking about the president breaking any law, but the Chief Justice, someone says, has misbehaved on essentially the same stated grounds. That's what I'm saying, that this thing is a whole cooked shenanigan to take the Chief Justice away, interfere in the judiciary. And it did not start today. When the NDC were in opposition, they kept bastardizing the judiciary. So much so bad that this attack was led by His Excellency John Dramani Mahama himself. And at a point in time, they christened the judiciary as Unanimous FC. I'm sure you know that. That's how much damage they have done to the judiciary. And this is not the first time the NDC is trying this. In 2008, before the election, it's the same bastardization they came with at the judiciary. And at a point, the national chairman of the NDC, the late Kwabena Adjei, Nkonya Terminator, said that there are so many ways to kill a cat. You remember that famous statement? And afterwards, when President Professor Mills was asked, he said he was not a cat hunter. So there has always been an attempt by the NDC to interfere in the judiciary. But mind you, this is the same judiciary in 2013 that conferred legitimacy on the presidency of John Dramani Mahama. Why didn't they reject?
Does that mean if there are breaches of the law at any point because the same judiciary ruled in his favor, he cannot take action?
The 2012 election was faulted. It was rigged.
Which election was rigged?
The 2012 election. All the inconsistencies, we were able to put them together. Of course, the court saw it. But commonsensically, when you read through the ruling and you understand the political atmosphere, you see what was done. The court gave legitimacy to John Dramani Mahama. That's when they took it and enjoyed the power. But today, they turn around and come and bastardize the same judiciary. All the top
So you just alluded to the fact that the judiciary itself has issues. Like in 2012, you cited, for instance, there were some judgments you were not okay with. So if the president is trying to correct that now, you should be applauding the president.
No. This is not what he's doing. Is not correction. And mind you, after the judgment, Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo said, "I disagree with the judgment, but I accept it." And of course, when you pick all the justices and their reasoning, you would understand what went on, with regards to reasoning. You understand? It is not to say that does that not make the judgment fair? Well, that is a separate discussion. I am dealing with the judiciary and all of them, not to pick on individual justices. But at the end of the day, you cannot pick and choose. Where it suits you, you take it. Where it doesn't, the thing is bad. And it's been consistent with the NDC. Every state institution, when they were in the position, was bad. Police, judiciary, EC, everything was bad. And there's a growing trend in this country that, look, myself and you, if justice emanates from the people and it is administered by the judiciary, all of us should be worried that politicians all of a sudden are jumping into the judiciary. Because the day you land in trouble and there is no fair legal jurisprudence to save you, my brother, you are dead.
So and let me tell you, that's the same thing the NDC is claiming to be curing because now here you are
much more corrupt and much more worse than anyone in this country to tell me that they want to fix something that is not right. No. This is the first time we are seeing the presidency write letter directly to state institutions and removing public servants from office who have gone through public service commission. This is the first time we are seeing it. These are lawbreakers. These are nation wreckers.
You think the president is breaking more laws than the Chief Justice?
Of course, he has broken more laws than I just told you. You saw his own brother driving, which is against any national security arrangement. You cannot do it. You can't do it when you have a well-trained chauffeur who is supposed to be, a CPO to the president.
So you believe the president has broken a number of laws? and we are in a democracy, you should go to court.
Look,
you don't have to be on the street. You don't have to be on the street demonstrating to make your grievances known. You know the court is there as the final arbiter, right?
Vincent Esefua has taken this matter to court. But respect.
So why don't you wait?
No.
Wait to get the outcome of the court.
Respect it. Why didn't the president wait for the matter to be dealt with? Why didn't he wait? What was the rush in suspending her? So if they won't wait, we will also wait. We will not wait for the harm to be done before we get up and put our hands on our heads.
He wants the sanctity of the judiciary to be maintained so you can get fair justice, as you just put it. Previously in 2012, like you cited, you've not received that. And that's what the president is trying to do.
No. These are a garrulous bunch of people with chauvinistic mindset who don't know anything about sanctity. All they care about is their whimsical interest. And if indeed the whole thing is cooking to ensure that John Dramani Mahama gets a third term, then we are in for a very...
Where are you getting that intel? You're not the first person from the NPP mentioning that.
It's their conduct. They say it. It's their conduct. When they finish, they're going for the EC. And when they finish with the EC, they have overwhelming majority in Parliament. So they will sponsor, an amendment, to the Constitution, and we'll go for...
But that does not mean necessarily that the president is going for a third term.
I'm a politician. I know a lot. I'm a grand operative. I know how a lot of things are generated. Okay? So if that is the whole thing cooking, I'm sorry, but it will not work. Look, when we do this demonstration and His Excellency the President will not back down, we will go and picket the Flagstaff House, we'll do so for days, and if they don't, we'll organize daily demonstrations in this country. Look, the NPP is a big party. The other parties...
Say that again. Tomorrow,
yes,
you are hitting the street.
Oh, hit the streets tomorrow.
And you are presenting, you said 3 different petitions, or 2?
It's the same petitions at 3 different
places, right? First of all, what is contained in that petition?
Tomorrow it will be out.
And so are you giving government a time frame within which you expect maybe the suspension of the Chief Justice to be, rescinded, something?
Tomorrow, when we read out the petition, you will find out what we are asking.
No time frames?
Of government. You'll find out tomorrow. At the end of the day, certainly, we will ask the President, His Excellency, John Dramani Mahama, that what is going on is not a very good side. This is an assault on the judiciary. This is assault on the democracy that we are all trying to build. And that for the hawks pushing him in his party to do so, he should think about it again. Rescind the decision. Otherwise, we are spiraling into a very dangerous cycle.
You just mentioned that after you present the petition, if nothing is done, you're going to do a lot of demonstrations across the country. I want clarity on that.
Yes, I said we'll picket at the Jubilee House. We'll picket it.
Beyond the Jubilee House?
Yes. As we go, we plan. And based on happenings, responses, we know how to scale up or how to scale down. So the response will tell us what next, in terms of action, we should take. So if tomorrow His Excellency the President, after, listening and, consulting, says that, we think that we should put, a break on this thing, so we are doing so. Why not? At the end of the day, democracy has won. This is not about the NPP and this. I know people in the NDC who don't agree with this. Tomorrow they should come out.
You know them?
They know themselves.
No, you say you know them.
Yes. They don't agree with what has been done. They should come out tomorrow and show that we're all building a democracy.
Well, some have raised concern that you are crying more than the bereaved. You have your party, the NPP. You suffered a crushing defeat. And this is the time you should focus on rebuilding the NPP. The NPP is not the judiciary. Why are you crying more than the bereaved?
We are not crying more than the bereaved. What we are talking about touches every single Ghanaian. I just read to you Article 125, where it tells you that justice emanates from the people. It doesn't come from anywhere. Myself and you, all of us together, produce justice, and it is administered by the judiciary. So where the haves and the have-nots can meet and trash out issues, seek redress, if all of a sudden it is destroyed, then it tells you that we are in a banana republic. So it has nothing to do with the political state of the NPP. The NPP is not in tatters. It's not the first political
party. You think
party.
so?
Absolutely.
Critics from your own party believe that even the thank you tour is not going well. And you are deliberately staging this protest to cover face. I mean, save your face from the crashing, thank you tour.
It's a civil duty we are carrying out. Posterity will judge us, and it will remember us for this war that we are taking on. Because it is not for our interest, but for the good of the people of Ghana.
Others say you are just diverting attention.
Attention of who?
From accountability.
From who?
The current president and the government is chasing some of your ex-officials.
They should go out and prosecute anybody they want. Nobody has stopped them. Every day the Attorney General is holding press conferences talking about people. They are not doing anything. It is not our fault. They should go ahead and prosecute anybody they want to prosecute. But what we are saying is that where you are attempting to destroy the very democracy that we have all struggled to build in the last 30 years or so, that's why we cannot sit aloof. No.
Right.
Where the president is, look, the judiciary, any attempt to take it down is the last trigger to a military coup takeover in this country. So we should not countenance it at all. It's a deadly move being taken.
Right.
And we should condemn it in no uncertain terms.
Right. Before I go to Mustafa Bande, who is joining us
let me tell you,
on Zoom.
Not the first to lose elections. In 2016, the NDC lost heavily in such a manner, 169 with 106 and blah, blah.
But of course,
to rebuild. We have started the process of rebuilding,
the margin. You cannot compare what the NDC lost in 2016 to what you suffered in 2024.
Dynamics will keep changing. Will keep changing. I can tell you that maybe in the next election, the dynamics might overturn and you'll be surprised. The people are getting more sophisticated. Today, we are dealing with Gen Zs. We are dealing with Gen Alphas. They significantly impact our politics today. Today, much more of our politics, is on social media, TikTok and so, which is much more different than even we had in 2016.
Right.
So if you don't understand what is going on and you make a blanket statement, it is...
Right. I think that point has been made. Before I go to Mustafa Bande, you say you'll picket the, Jubilee House.
Yes, we'll picket it.
That is supposed to be a security zone.
No, it's not a security zone.
In 2024, your government said it was a security zone.
They were allowed...
How come in just a few months you are telling us that
they were allowed to come all the way the Jubilee House. People,
That's not accurate because the Galamsey demo guys were prevented from getting closer to the Jubilee House.
They came and presented their petition. They did.
But you say they presented their petition. Yes. You say you're going to picket the Jubilee House.
We'll pick it. We'll pick it.
That's abuse of the security regulation.
No. It is up to us and the security people to sit like we're having this demo, all the arrangements we did. We'll have the similar arrangements, and the processes will go on, like it happened in the past. We are not going to endanger the life of the president. No, we won't do so.
You don't think you're going to disturb the peace? The country's enjoying. We're not disturbing peace.
We are rather restoring peace. What we are trying to do is to ensure that the sanctity of the state is not destroyed. Okay, we don't have a nation capture. In opposition, they were screaming all the place that there was state capture. No, this one is nation capture. What they are trying to do, I will not allow them. We will not sit down and watch people misbehave in this manner. No, we'll fight tyranny every single day we see it.
Right. Hold it for me. Let me go to Mustafa Bande. First of all, let me find out from you, the NDC as a party, what's your view on this demo, Save the Judiciary demo?
Well, good evening, and good evening to my colleague in your studio. First of all, this is not the first time a party have lost an election. The NDC lost election in 2016. What we did is to go into reasonable, sober reflection with the honest intention of correcting our wrongs. Because obviously the people who voted are Ghanaians and they judge. We corrected ourselves from where we got it wrong. We right those wrongs. We repackaged our party, rebranded ourselves. We got competent leaders to lead our party, and that we won an election. Now, it is strange that our colleagues haven't been in power for 8 years. The level of mismanagement and destruction, the colossal corruption with which they left this country depressed. After 4 months, you are sitting on TV and telling the same people you punished with an 82-year-old man, impoverished our country, depleted our resources, shared it as though Ghana didn't have owners. With that impunity, you sit on studio and say that you will make Ghana ungovernable. Well, we wish them well. The NDC today...
Mustafa, I don't think he said they will make Ghana ungovernable on this platform. To be fair to him, he said they will picket the Jubilee House. But I don't recall he making a statement that they will make the country ungovernable.
He is being captured to have said they will make Ghana ungovernable if A, B, C, D happens. And I'm telling him that, you see, if you have lost election the way they lost, you don't have to be speaking in that manner, because your mismanagement, your recklessness is a problem of the nation which must be fixed. A government is in place to try and fix that mess. It is not for you to sit on TV without impunity and speak anyhow. Now, let me talk about this demonstration. What is the NPP's...
Well, we seem to be having some connection challenges too. Mustafa Bande. Mustafa, if you can take that point again.
I'm saying that what is the NPP picketing about? That the Chief Justice is no longer an individual.
It's unfortunate. We're having connection issues with Mustafa Bande there. Yeah, Mustafa?
Yes.
Okay, please make a point.
The NPP's demonstration, I can assure you, is nothing but a cover-up of their mess, their inability to organize their own party after a defeat. They have lost credibility in the sight of Ghanaians, one. They are not even managers enough to put their party together. So let us hinge on national discussions to do a demonstration. The NDC will not stop them from organizing a demonstration. At least the President Mahama I know is one who believes, first of all, in human rights, secondly, in the rule of law. He believes that people should demonstrate. He also believes that the legal processes must work. What is the NPP's problem again? That they will come and picket Jubilee House, they will go and picket, let them go. They should carry mattresses and sleep there. It's their Jubilee House. They are also
you will not stop them? Because we understand the Jubilee House is a security area.
Well, who does that stop anything? Does that mean that because these people are busy going to demonstrate, so therefore Ghana should come to an end? These were the ones who have been in power for 8 years, left this country in a terrible situation, destroyed businesses, stolen money, very corrupt, with impunity and a disgust form of leadership. These same people, they are saying that President Mahama have done what? So,
right. So
what are they proffering? Is the NPP proffering what should have been done that President Mahama didn't follow? or they are just going to be busy.
So
I see their whole game plan as a calculated attempt to distract people, to distract the focus that have been on them in the last 2 and 3 months, where Ghanaians get depressed every day, getting to know their scandals upon scandals upon scandals. That is all this is about. But I don't think that they are pursuing anything nationalistic. They are not.
So
the NPP I know, the NPP of today is very shameful that the NPP of Sir John, the likes of Jacob Chebilamte, have been reduced to this comedy of leadership where they don't even know their left from their right. If you don't understand timing, then you will follow what the NPP is doing. Because Ghanaians were very fatigued for 8 years. You destroyed businesses.
Right. Mustafa.
You committed a lot of injustice. And all the NDC have come to do is to right those wrongs and offer consolation and justice to the people of Ghana. And you say what? You
but I think that, Mustafa, the issues you are raising are not directly related to the demonstration, because the NPP is raising an issue that has to do with the judiciary. And they believe that the suspension of the Chief Justice is what they want to fight. Is wrong in their opinion. So, well, even though the issues you are raising may stand, but I want us to focus on the concerns they are raising, that there's an interference. There is an interference from the president.
My brother, the NPP doesn't have any concern. They just want to mislead the public and to try and force President Mahama to stand down on what is lawful. But this is not a government or a party you intimidate, particularly when you are wrong. And I'm very sorry because, and excuse me, I had vowed not to talk about this DJ matter. But since
well, Mustafa, if you could unmute, so we hear the last statement you made. I think we really can hear you now.
That the NPP should be careful so that they don't go for demonstration only to come back tomorrow, and they are very serious and damning information be put out in the public there that will embarrass them. Because as far as I'm concerned, someone is being suspended for due process to take place. Nobody have judged the Chief Justice. They've just, tomorrow, if the NPP comes and says Mustafa is involved in some crime of a sort, the law requires that I should be investigated. In the course of the demonstration and the investigation, should NDC people go on demonstration to say that Mustafa is innocent when you have not even investigated the person? So the same way, if a judicial process has been activated to allow a process enshrined in our constitution to be tested, what is the NPP running away from? Is the Chief Justice NPP? Is she a politician? Why is it that only NPP people are the ones defending her? What is their interest?
So, Mustafa,
do they have something to hide?
You think that this particular demonstration is actually not going to change anything?
Oh, it's an exercise in futility. No reasonable, and I repeat that anyone who understands the exigencies of lawlessness will follow the NPP for what they are doing. These are people who have, they are full. They have taken a lot from the country, and in the last 3 months, they've not been doing anything. So they just want to get busy. I don't think they are doing anything meaningful that will impact on this country. And they cannot deceive. The very Gen Zs they have impoverished, deceived. 8 years. He was the National Youth Organizer. He, my brother Mustafa sitting there. Knock up. The people they employed, did they pay them before they left power?
Right.
National Service, did they pay them? They're asking the same youth to go and demonstrate. Afforestation, did they pay them? He, Mustafa, did he ensure that his party that was in government paid national service personnel? The Gen Zs, you deceived. The Gen Zs, you chopped their money. National service was a scandalous institution under your watch as a national youth organizer in government. You're asking the same Gen Zs.
Mustafa, I think we should still speak to the demo, because most of the things you are saying more or less is drifting us away from the core issue. Before I come to Mustafa in the studio, you are the presidency. How does President Mahama himself feel about this particular demo by the biggest opposition party in our country?
Well, when you talk to President Mahama's spokesperson, I'm sure that he will give you President Mahama's feeling. But I think that as a Deputy General Secretary of the NDC, this is a frivolous exercise. President Mahama, as you know him, is not one who is easily distracted. And I don't think that from where I sit as an executive of the party, there is an ill feeling. The fairness of it is that President Mahama didn't break a law. He just applied the process. And you're asking him not to apply discretion. What should he have done in the case? When we even have precedents to follow. The same procedure was followed under Charlotte Tosei's matter, where the same law was applied. This same matter is what President Akufo-Addo used against Charlotte Tosei. And in President Mahama's case, he rather suspended to allow for a committee to look into the matter. What is the NPP's beef?
So is it a tit-for-tat kind of democracy being practiced here?
Look, the NDC, I think that President Mahama is a very serious person as president. He is focused on building a nation. The least I know is for him to get distracted into paying back. If you look at his gestures towards President Akufo-Addo recently, it has shown all of us that really, can governance be this easy? Can people extend this level of gestures to one another? So what was the business of the arrogant posturing of the previous government? Such that President Akufo-Addo will not even greet people in public. He commands chiefs to get up. That is President Mahama. He is a leader.
All right. Mustafa,
he's a leader who is not vindictive. He's a leader who will not score political points. But if a decision would have to be taken, he will take that decision. The NPP's demonstration cannot stop what is lawful to take place.
Okay, before I come to, hold for me. Before I come to Mustafa in studio, Mustafa in studio said that you are preparing the grounds for President Mahama to seek a third term.
So what?
You agree?
So what? So what? When President Akufo-Addo is repackaging the weakest candidate they have ever presented for election, for a re-election in the name of a thank you tour, have we commented about it? Even Vice President Mahmoud Bawumia, they believe that he should still contest election. And so what? Granted that is the case, which is not even the case. And so what? Are they the ones to determine who goes to election and who doesn't go to election? What has that got to do with a judicial matter?
All right.
What has that got to do with the suspension of a chief justice? So they are even inconsistent in terms of what their demands are.
Okay, Mustafa.
They don't know what
it
is about.
The point has been made. Let me come in studio and speak to Salam. Salam, you have a number of reactions to the issues Mustafa Gbande has been raising.
Honestly, I'm very surprised that a Deputy General Secretary would speak in the manner that my brother has spoken. You know, I'm not sure even a Deputy Youth Organizer would speak in this manner. And you can see arrogance of power speaking. And so what?
Arrogance of power?
Yes, already. Is
it too early for them?
It tells you the mindset that these people, you know, were seeking power. Already within 3-4 months, Mustafa Gbande, Deputy General Secretary, so arrogant that he can say, and so what, to people on TV. These are the characters parading as the managers of Ghana around the president.
Okay, let's now go to the key issues he raised.
Listen to him. He didn't raise any issue than to run around like a headless chicken, you know, on nothing, because all the issues you have presented to Mustafa Bandi.
He said you are doing this to divert attention from your internal party issues that you have.
Anytime I hear Mustafa Bandi on TV, I know what he will say. And the Akufo-Addo government didn't do this, and the NPP is trite. I think my brother should look for new phraseology and new things in his head that when he's called for interview, he should say. He's been tried, and he has become monotonous and boring listening to. Aside this flat arrogance we are seeing, look, we have raised very serious issues. Challenge the petition, that the petitions that have been put before His Excellency the President are bogus. I'm sure you have read all three. And I'm saying that if any of them held any merit, would have all taken it in good stride. But where you cannot establish embezzlement, interference in justice delivery, but bothering someone goes to court, the last one, Ayamga Yakubu or so, goes to court and says that the Chief Justice shouted on him or so, and based on that, the Chief Justice should be suspended. I have been to court several times. The recent one, when a young NPP social activist was arrested, and when the judge came, the judge established her authority in her court. She would ask everybody, sit down, I don't want noise in my court. So I should have also come to say that the lady justice who sat on the case was, capricious, and that, I feel offended by what she has done. So she should be taken out of the bench. That is preposterous. You cannot think like that as, a sane person. And that's why I think that, look, this whole attempt with what is going on is power drunk and despotic, and the president should move back. Otherwise, he will become a despot, and this country has no place for despots.
You can't describe the president in such a language.
No, I am saying that the attempt to do what is going on is despotic, and the president should not become a despot. Okay? Because we cannot pick, flimsy excuses and say that based on the fact that we don't like someone, the person should be thrown away. Which civil society, which senile society?
But is it not following the laid down procedure? The NDC has maintained that the president continues to follow laid down procedure. He referred the issue, for instance, to the Council of State. And the Council of State made a determination.
I'm disappointed in the Council.
You are disappointed in the Council of State. Why? Give us a reason, then you continue.
This is a body that it's supposed to be a thinking cap, advise the president. When you take the law, we have the spirit and the letter. Things can, you can say that some things are right, but is everything proficient? So you see such a petition, you read through. Even a first-year law student will throw this into the, waste bin. So for a whole Council of State to recommend that the Chief Justice should go on suspension, I'm totally disappointed. It shouldn't have taken place at all in the first place, because this is clearly a cooked up, trumped up petition that seeks to, fall into a certain political thinking. And that is what we are fighting against, that it's not being done in good faith. The whole thing is cooked. And that if we allow it to go on, in the future, the same thing can be done to another person.
Right.
Assuming Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo has said in 2018 thereabout that, the Speaker of Parliament, Alban Bagbin, is giving me problems. So we have 169 members of Parliament. Let's find every means possible to remove Alban Bagbin as
but that's not the scenario you are giving is totally different from what pertains now.
It's not different.
It is not the president that is saying let's get the Chief Justice removed. It is a petition from Ghanaians.
Yes.
And the law allows that.
As for petition, I can sit here and draft a petition in 5 minutes for you. Against everybody.
So what wrong has the president done? Your followers are watching. Give us in one sentence, what wrong has the president?
We cannot run to Article 146 and say that the president didn't do any wrong. Look, there's common sense in law. When this thing came to Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, I'm sure you know, that same, in fact, I think the Shining Star one came to Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo. After reading through and a little bit of background checks, the president said, no, we cannot admit this. It cannot continue. Simple and short. Because we cannot waste the nation's time following on frivolous petitions. Otherwise, we have opened the floodgates to petitions.
So what is President John Dramani Mahama's wrong?
The president, like I said, if I were him, I would have called the petitioners and given them some heavy head knocks for wasting everybody's time. Yes.
How about the Council of State members? You said you disagree with the decision.
I disagree with the Council of State.
Yeah. So where do you put the blame? Are you putting the blame on the petitioners, the Council of State, or the president?
Look, everybody involved in this thing has been murky. Everyone involved in this thing has been murky. Look, we are talking of an arm of government, not just state institutions, but an arm of government. That I already quoted to you Article 125, that justice emanates from the people. It is administered by the judiciary. So it is not a body you joke with. Look, Carlos, even in military regimes, the judiciary is not touched. Even military regimes. The parliament is disbanded, media people, media closed down and so on and so forth. There's authoritarian rule, but
the judiciary is protected.
Yes.
You think that's not happening now?
No. There is an attempt to not just lampoon the judiciary, but cocoon it, have absolute control of the judiciary, instill fear in them. Because some people think that they have, power and that they can use it capriciously. That's exactly what is going on.
But I'm at a loss here. You are blaming the petitioners. And
I'm
also,
not blaming the petitioners.
I'm coming. You said all the characters in that have issues.
They are bogus. They are useless petitions.
So why are you now putting it on the head of the president?
Because
he did not initiate the petition.
Yes. When the petitions come, it is the duty and responsibility of the president to have a look at it. That's why you are petitioned.
So he looked at it.
Yes.
And said he couldn't make a determination. And the law allows for him to forward it to the Council of State, which he did.
Carlos,
so reason I want to find out, in one sentence, what wrong did the president do? For which reason you are carrying out the Save the Judiciary
the wrong
demo?
The president has done is even admitting these petitions.
How?
They are useless petitions. That's what I keep telling you.
But it's there in the Constitution that anybody could petition the president over issues like this.
Exactly.
But so what wrong? I'm struggling. I want to know what wrong has the president done?
For the president to say that what you have brought lacks weight and that we cannot work with this. And I'm telling you.
So he looked at it. The law
did the same thing. That's why I asked you, should I file a petition today that President John Dramani Mahama should be impeached because his brother drove him, which constitutes misbehavior? Should I do so? Because I cannot.
You are a Ghanaian and you have the right to do, once you believe any public officer breaches the law, you are at liberty to do that.
We will be running into realms of absurdity if we continue to thrive on trivialities, like some of these things that we have countenanced. Otherwise, next time, like I said, someone goes to court and says that somebody didn't smile at me, so I have a problem with the person. And that someone says that, and the Chief Justice transferred somebody from Accra to Kumasi, so it constitutes basis for her removal. And you are entertaining this? Are you serious? Let's talk a joke in this country.
Okay, so you've not been able to establish clearly to me.
I said
what the president has done wrong.
In my opinion,
constitutionally,
what the president has done wrong is entertaining the petitions. If I am the president, I will not.
What do you mean, entertaining the petition? The petitions were addressed to the president. That's his office.
He has a determination to make. And that's why I told you, when it came to Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, he looked at this thing and said, how can you say that a Chief Justice who works with a group of judges and says that I'm recommending these people for promotion and forward same constitute basis for her removal.
Right.
I work with you here. Kwesi Chum says that, oh, Carlos, you have been working so hard, so I'm making you general manager. Now I say, no, Kwesi Chum, I disagree with you, making Carlos general manager. Maybe I've also worked in multimedia for a while. These are some of the things we entertain, and I'm telling you that they are trumped up. It's a duck that is being cooked.
Okay, I think the point has been made. Tell us about tomorrow, because I'm going to Mustapha Gbande shortly. What are the numbers looking like? What should we expect?
And again, Mustapha went about, and it is the NPP. I want to make the correction that it is not really an NPP demonstration. We are part of it. We believe in the principle of saving the judiciary. So we join our colleagues, like-minded people, reasonable-minded people, sane-minded people who are bored by every attempt to bastardize the judiciary and say, no.
Have you reached out to the members of the judiciary to join this protest?
It's open to everybody.
Do you know if members of the judiciary, because you are saving the judiciary, yes, are they part of this demonstration tomorrow?
They are the biggest beneficiary.
No, yes, of course. And they should be part. And I want to find out, you are the lead organizers. Are they joining you tomorrow?
I'm sure they'll join, because a lot of people are happy. We speak to people on a daily basis. And I'm telling you, there are people in the NDC. Look, every party has its moderates and hawks. There are moderates in the NDC who do not agree with what their party...
So we should see them tomorrow.
I pray that they master the courage and show up.
Will former President Akufo-Addo be part of this demonstration tomorrow?
I don't know whether...
Your party chair will be there?
Tomorrow, when you are there, you will see everybody that will come. At 5 a.m., we'll start congregating at the old Kwame Nkrumah Mausoleum, just by the Supreme Court. It is not Obra Sport. People should take this information very seriously. We are not converging at the Obra Sport.
Okay.
We are converging around the Supreme Court, at the old Kwame Nkrumah Mausoleum. You see, at the opposite side of the Supreme Court, there's a very large park.
Yeah.
There. That's where we are going to converge tomorrow to start the peaceful procession that we want to do. We are peaceful. We are law-abiding. Tomorrow's protest is going to be peaceful. That we will ensure, and it is going. We are going to make sure that we abide by the law.
So at the end of tomorrow, you end your protest. You submit the petition to the Supreme Court, Parliament, and Jubilee House, and you go home.
Yes, we will go home tomorrow.
And how afterwards? Afterwards, what happens?
We wait for the response from His Excellency the President, which we are hoping graciously, after sober reflection, he would see that it is not a good way to go.
Okay.
It's not a good way to go.
All right. Thank you so much, Mustapha Salam Mohammed, for talking to us here on Probe. Let me give the final word to Mustapha Gbande. You have just about a minute and a half to tell us. Tomorrow, I believe the NDC guys are going to be feeling the pressure from the NPP and its allies.
No. Clearly, tomorrow is another wasteful day by people who are full of mischief. I have listened to Mustapha speak, and I can feel him speaking English. The man sitting there doesn't understand law. The matter in question is a matter of law. All that he's been talking about are frivolities and ignoramus presentations. And for me, I don't think that this is pressure to anyone, particularly when the NPP is being partisan about the removal of the Chief Justice. The NPP is covering their own shadows as far as the Chief Justice matter is concerned. For me, it is neither here nor there. Let them continue demonstration. I'm sure that the security services would have made arrangements for them. They are citizens of Ghana. Let them continue. If they want to do it 1 week, let them continue. We'll give them food because they don't have anything to do. Their party is down.
You give them food.
Your arrogance is quite stinking, Mustapha.
Anything.
I don't need food from you. I don't need food from you. Nobody wants your food.
Let them finish.
You hear nobody's hungry. What I'm saying is that stop the misbehavior. You guys stop the nonsense you are doing, sitting there cooking things. That's why I'm saying that stop it.
Please, can you let me talk? Since they have gone into issues outside the petitions, let them finish. When they finish the demonstration, you see, we've been trying, for some of us, as political actors to protect credibility, integrity. The fact that somebody have broken a law whilst in public office is not enough to say things that will denigrate the person's credibility. But if that is
what law has the Chief Justice broken?
If that,
embezzlement?
Please, can you let me land?
Yeah, let him
Finish.
land. Mustafa,
Any funds in this country?
allow him to land.
Finish your useless demonstration.
You are just speaking trumped up, English
The
here.
media and
Mustafa, allow him to land. I think he was so quiet.
We will go into conversation that will detail an accountability of the office of the Chief Justice. And let me educate Mustafa Salam that the Chief Justice and her office doesn't constitute the judiciary.
You cannot educate me. Ada, you cannot educate me. I can quote you all the articles. I'll take my time to do my research.
Let him land. All right.
No, I don't need research to discuss this matter because I'm very versatile in it.
Yes.
That is why I'm educating you.
You cannot educate
the
me.
Of the Chief
Stop
Justice
your stinking arrogance. Tomorrow, you guys would see that we will not give you the chance to continue to misbehave in this country.
We wish you well.
You made the country ungovernable.
If that's how they want it.
Well, if you go beyond your rights, the law will contain you. Let me give you that assurance.
Let me also give you the assurance that we have we have courage in our hearts to take you on. Don't think that somebody is scared.
The law will contain
Don't ever
and
think
make sure that the country moves on. You cannot make the country ungovernable. You can't do that.
All right. Mustafa Bande, thank you so much for joining us here on The Probe, as well as Mustafa Salam. Thank you so much. It's been a very interesting conversation. And tomorrow, we're going to see the protests starting from the High Street all the way to the Jubilee House. And you can trust Joy News to be there. We'll give you our live feed and all the happenings on the ground. This has been The Probe. We've been live on Joy 99.7 FM and Love 99.5 FM in Kumasi, and all our social media platforms and at myjoyonline.com. My name is Carlos Caloni. Thank you so much for watching. Have a good evening.